Hey entrepreneurs, if you are feeling stuck at that six-figure or less mark and you are really looking for ways to supercharge your business, this is the video for you. We're going to be going over how you can make $1,000 a day. Yes, you heard me right. I said $1,000 a day. And no, this doesn't involve any gimmicks. I'm not trying to sell you anything. In fact, this is just part of a series where I drop a free masterclass every single week. This is information so valuable that it usually lives behind a paywall. Somebody is usually requiring that you pay them in order to get this information. But I give it away completely for free every single week. My only ask is that you hit that like button down below and hit subscribe if you find it valuable. We're gonna go over creative ways to package your skills and hit $1,000 a day. I also include a step-by-step downloadable that you can use to follow along. And by the end of this video, you will know what your $1,000 a day offer is. So let's get right into it. So before we get tactical, we have to talk about mindset. The reality is, if you are somebody who is a six-figure entrepreneur, your business makes six figures in revenue, that actually translates to less than $10,000 a month. And again, that's revenue, so you're not taking all of that home. And the reason why I mention all of this is because there's a significant difference in the type of entrepreneur, the type of person, and also the sort of business model and business structure that can support somebody actually going from something like $8,000 a month to $20,000, $30,000, or $40,000 a month. Yes, the way that your business operates actually has to be different. And I'm not going to recap what that really requires. I actually did a completely different masterclass on how you can 10x your income and work less, which I will link above and down below in the description box if you want to watch that next. But the primary difference between somebody who can make six figures and somebody who can make multiple six figures is actually scale and leverage. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs find it tricky because they look at themselves as having achieved a major milestone by hitting six figures. And it absolutely is. I would never take that away from anybody. But here's the thing. I have seen people being able to hit six figures in their business by having a really great service, right? They are truly solving a problem and they're able to turn on the tap when it comes to sales and marketing. But eventually you hit a tipping point. You hit an inflection point, which is that you're making money in your business, but you cannot continue to operate the way you previously have operated. And I'll give you an example of this. For example, let's say you are working with clients or customers where each client requires about 10 hours of work and they pay you $1,000. Now, to you and to most people, this is great, right? Like that translates to $100 an hour. That is way more than most people get at a job. So you're definitely scratching the surface and making something happen for yourself, which is amazing. But here's the issue. You only have so much that you can give. You only have so much time. You only have so much energy. You only have so many resources. So yes, it might take 10 hours to service one client for $1,000, but that's only on delivering the service, on invoicing, on all of those aspects of dealing with a client. But there's still a whole other aspect to your business, right? Which is the marketing component, the sales component, the customer service component, being able to run things strategically, being able to look at the data, look at your KPIs, make decisions, take different actions in your business. All of that requires time as well. So if you want to achieve some sort of work-life balance in your business, if you still want to have some sort of freedom when it comes to living the life that you want, this might look like working no more than 40 hours a week for yourself. So theoretically, people think that, okay, each client, 10 hours, I don't want to work more than 40 hours a week, so I can take on 4 clients a week. But no, that's not the case at all. You still have all of those other things you have to do in your business. So you're likely not able to actually service more than, let's say, 2 clients a week. And this is one of the many ways that people end up getting stuck at six figures. And the reason why I started this off talking about mindset is because mindset is a huge way of getting yourself out of the six-figure trap. So the reality is you're still thinking of your value in relation to your time. You're still like, well, I think this is a fair amount to charge for a client because this is approximately the amount of hours that it'll take. But in order to get beyond 10K a month, you have to start rewiring how you think about making money and how you think about value. And that is why this exercise of how you can make $1,000 a day is so beneficial. Again, this isn't some sleazy way to make money. This is just a practical roadmap that will allow you to unshackle yourself from the mindset that is holding you back. I'm not saying you're going to take this and, be able to develop the pipeline that gets you $1,000 a day, but it'll give you that framework. It'll give you that structure for how you can think about value in your business and a real practical way that you can actually make $1,000 in not even a day, in an hour or in 90 minutes. And this is so critical, so important, because the reality is, guys, we have to try and unlock new frontiers in our mind. As humans, we are constantly limiting ourselves to what we perceive as achievable, and on top of that, our mind is always trying to keep us safe. So it's actually always trying to reel us back in and prevent us from doing things differently and taking risks, because it wants to keep us comfortable, it wants to keep us safe. But as you know, the saying goes, growth does not happen in your comfort zone. So today's masterclass is all about taking you out of that comfort zone. So let's talk about the first way that you can hit $1,000 in a day, which will just completely unlock new possibilities in your mind. And that is by completely flipping what you have been doing on its head. So what do I mean by that, and how do we do it? The reality is, the way that a lot of solopreneurs or small businesses operate right now is they're constantly focused on trying to get new leads. And the reason why they need so many new leads is because they work one-to-one. So let's say I'm some sort of consultant that operates in the health and wellness space. Let's say I'm a naturopath. What typically happens is I have a specific service and I am looking to sell it to you, right? Like, I want to work with you for, let's say, 10 or 15 hours, or let's say for, a 3-month retainer. That's how I make my money. I need to constantly fill seats in whatever service it is that I'm offering in order to continuously make money. Completely makes sense. That's how most people do it. But here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna give you an alternative perspective, and this is how I encourage you to think about everything that I talk to you about, okay? I want you to take how everybody else is doing things, right? How everybody else stays on a hamster wheel, whether it's within their own business or whether it's in life, and I want you to think about, how can I do things differently? Because if you want different outcomes, you have to do things differently. So let's instead run with a model where you do not have to focus on filling new seats. In fact, you're not even offering just one-to-one. Instead, you're selling what is called one-to-many. So you as an individual are selling to many people. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of this concept before, but I'm gonna push it even further. So again, some people do one-to-many by offering something like a cohort-based program. This could be a group coaching program. So you sign up 10 people for your coaching program that runs every single week for 2 months. But here's the thing, even with that specific one-to-many model, with some sort of program where you have multiple people in it at the same time, the reason why most people find it so difficult is because it still is requiring them to pour gasoline when it comes to sales and marketing. They still have to have a pipeline of people who want to join. And so yes, they're making more money by doing less, but they are now still spending just as much time, or likely way more time, on those other aspects of the business around the sales and marketing parts of the business. So again, I pose that question of, how do we get out of that trap? And the reason why I use the phrase trap, it's not that anything's wrong with one-to-many. It's not that anything's wrong with that form of one-to-one work. I do or have done both. But we cannot live there because, again, it limits our scalability. It's not that it puts a cap on how much money we can make, right? Because the reality is, if most of us were capped at multi-six figures or $1 million, we'd be very happy with that, right? But the issue is that it puts a low cap on how much we can make. And it's likely that most people won't be that superstar within their niche that will allow them to command really high rates. So how do we think about this idea of one-to-many differently, of using our time more efficiently in our business in order to make money? And off the bat, one of the first things I would say is you are likely targeting the wrong client. And we're gonna get straight into this in this first way that you can make $1,000 a day. So you ultimately want to target clients that have a bigger budget. And guys, this is one of the first things that I did in my business in order to start making good money while doing less. And if you don't know who the client you should be targeting is, grab the downloadable down below in the description box because we're gonna get straight into things. This is what I call the 3 E's sweet spot framework. And guys, again, this is usually information that lives behind a paywall. People used to pay me in order to walk them through this one-on-one. So if you're getting value out of this, make sure you hit that like button down below. Okay, so what is the 3 E's sweet spot? So we have these 3 circles that intersect and create a Venn diagram, and each circle stands for an E. The first E is expertise. So what is your area of expertise? This should be something that's valuable, right? It solves a problem. Because here's the thing, the idea of people just paying for knowledge is kind of out. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but you want something that really has an impact. So what is your area of expertise that truly has an impact? And here's the thing, guys, it might be something that's like 1 degree removed or 1 step away from how you are currently serving clients. So it's still in the same realm of it, but just write down your areas of expertise. I don't want you to just list what you do for clients. Then we have the second E, which is experience. What experience do you have getting some sort of transformation for an individual, for a business? Have you been able to solve these problems before? Write the different areas in which you have been able to show experience around these various areas of expertise. And the third E is execution. So execution is how you deliver what you know and have done. So maybe you already have created various resources for clients around your area of expertise. Maybe you have already run workshops for clients on these areas of expertise. But overall, that E of execution is really all about how you're going to be able to package and present this offer to potential clients in a way where they're able to easily see the value of it. And we're going to get into why this is so important, because you're going to use this 3E sweet spot framework in order to develop something that is pitched to a company that actually has a budget to pay for it. And here's the thing, guys, the idea of even large companies just paying for knowledge is kind of on its way out. Okay, they want some sort of transformation. Like I mentioned, they want you to solve some sort of problem. So how you position yourself is very important. And I'm sure as somebody who has already made money in your business before, you already know that. So I'm not going to dwell on it, but the execution is very important for you getting started on this ASAP and moving forward to be able to make $1,000 a day. And again, the reason why I'm making $1,000 a day is it's so shattering to our limiting beliefs and is so shattering to people's ways of working, especially if you are somebody who is stuck at 100K or less. So once you have this Venn diagram filled out, you are going to see the different possible combinations of opportunities for you. And the jackpot scenario is you have something where there's a high degree of expertise, you have the experience of having achieved some sort of transformation before, and on top of that, you ideally already have very clearly packaged a form of execution. So this could be in the form of worksheets, this could be in the form of a presentation that you typically offer to clients, or some sort of digital course that they take. You have all of it, right? And even if you don't have all of it, if one element is missing, it's completely okay. It's still possible for you to achieve $1,000 a day. Because what you're going to do is you are then going to take this Venn diagram and you are going to package it up in an offer that is sold to either a corporation or an organization in order for you to come in and teach a 1 hour or 90-minute workshop. Now, let me tell you why you are going to do this and why you are going to take this route. First of all, this solves one of your major pain points of constantly trying to fill seats, right? Because here's the thing, when you're doing one-to-many, you are still the person who has to get 10, 15, 20 people in that room. But when you are selling to a corporation, when you are selling to an organization, what happens is they are filling those seats for you. And that's why they're paying so much for it, right? That's why they're paying $1,000 for it, is because it's not just a transformation or solving a problem for one individual. No, you're actually solving a problem or allowing for some sort of transformation for a group of people, a team of people. And I don't want you to think about a team in the traditional sense of like you're providing training for a team, like an accounting team or a finance team, which yes, that might be what your Venn diagram is showing you, but you can also think about it from a more creative sense of you are providing a transformation or solving a problem for their employees. And this is something, guys, that could be super technical or it could not be, right? Like maybe you are offering a workshop on how to better handle stress. That is something that a lot of organizations would pay for because ultimately they want to keep their employees happy. They want to be able to reduce the amount of stress that they have so that people are more productive and take less time off. And another reason why I love this option so much, guys, is it flips on its head what so many people are doing right now, right? So many people are waiting for folks to come to them, right? They're trying to have their target audience, their target clientele find them, which is important, but we're actually in a day and age where so many people have forgotten the importance of outbound. And unless you're in very specific industries, I find people don't consider outbound as a real viable strategy, but it can be so valuable. I've told the story before of how I was able to enter a brand new industry where I didn't know anybody, didn't have any connects, and I was able to land my first client and make $1,000 in less than 2 weeks. Again, when I had no experience, I wasn't well known. I was able to land that first client in less than 2 weeks and make close to $1,000 by doing what? Outbound. And here's the thing, guys, when you create a compelling offer, when you package up a workshop that really highlights your expertise, reinforces the value you're providing and is targeting very specific clientele, it actually becomes very easy to stand out because nobody's doing outbound, nobody's pitching, nobody's reaching out to these companies who have budgets that they have to spend. So I want you guys to think about the real value of going through this exercise and creating this additional revenue stream within your business. And I would argue that the real value that it provides for you is not just the money that you will get from doing it. Because the reality is, yes, it's absolutely amazing to be able to generate $1,000 in 60 minutes, but obviously you don't want to get back on the hamster wheel and make this the only thing. I know people that this is basically what they do full time, right? They do workshops, they do speaking, and they make great money, and it is what has allowed them to hit multiple 6 figures. However, I think for a lot of people, that's actually not going to be the main focus of your business, and instead you can leverage this opportunity to create space within your business to start thinking about things differently. Because here's the thing, once you make $1,000 in 60 minutes, do you think you're gonna go back to feeling like, oh, a client paying me $1,000 for a week's worth of work, for 10 hours worth of work, for whatever it is, that is going to be your baseline? No, the goalpost is gonna have shifted, new things within your mind are gonna have unlocked, and you're going to be focused on, okay, how can I achieve something more scalable, something with better leverage like this? For me, that's something that allowed me to finally achieve success in my business, is because I started thinking about targeting different clientele where I was able to have more leverage and have a business with higher scalability, as opposed to constantly trying to fill a pipeline of lower paying clientele. Which is completely possible, by the way, and that's a lot of people's business models and it works for them. But I think if you're watching this video, then you're looking for a little bit more freedom. You're thinking about how you can do things differently in your business in order to get more money, and you don't want to do things the way everybody else has been doing them, and you really want to just get off that hamster wheel. So let's talk about the second way that you can hit $1,000 a day, and that is by having a productized consulting offer. So let's talk about this and unpack this a little bit. So a lot of people watching this, their focus is on providing a service that is often continuous and ongoing. You might be offering accounting services. You might be offering holistic health services. And again, it requires you working with a client, typically one-on-one, over a long period of time. And oftentimes, the reason why people do it this way is because they see working with a client over a long period of time as a form of security. You know that you're gonna be getting paid this month, the next month, and the month after. But here's the thing, I really think the marketplace is shifting. And even though some of you might still be trapped in this idea of trading your time for money, ultimately, what customers value is a quick solution. People will pay more if you solve their problems quickly. So this is where a productized offering comes into play. You want to do something where you are offering a fixed scope, a fixed transformation for a fixed time period. And here's the thing, I don't want you to think about that time period as having to be 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, a month. You are a real expert, in my opinion, when you are able to deliver a solution to somebody in a shorter period of time. So that might be the challenge that is in front of you today, and that's the challenge that I'm presenting to you. Whatever you do that you're currently offering to your clients, how do you provide them with a framework for achieving the outcome in less time? How do you provide it for them in a week, in 2 days, in 1 day, in 1 hour? And that might be that you're rejigging the scope, right? So maybe right now when you are working with these clients for 3 months, the transformation is something that is significant. You're saying that they're gonna lose 60 pounds by the end of working with you one-on-one. But you could have a productized offer where instead of, the result that you're guaranteeing or the transformation that you're guaranteeing being 20 pounds by working with you one-on-one, what you are offering to them is actually what they need to be successful on their own forever without having somebody like you holding their hand. And I'm not an expert in health and wellness and nutrition, it could be a bunch of things, right? It could be you're creating customized meal plans for them, workout plans for them based on their specific health challenges. So I don't know what that could look like for that industry, but again, a productized offer. So an example is this masterclass, right? Like I used to run this as a one-on-one productized offer where I would sit down with people and we would develop how they are going to make $1,000 in a day. Or for example, my VIP day offering where I work directly with entrepreneurs in order to help them be able to work less and make more money. Which by the way, if that's what you are prioritizing these days in your business, you can book a call with me down below in the description box. We can jump on a call and talk about custom solutions on what this could look like for your business. And here's the thing, guys, the reason why this works is because businesses and people in business love clarity, right? So for them to know that if they book this productized offer with you, that there's no, long wait time to get a result, there's no reoccurring billing, it's just boom, they get the transformation that they're looking for. That is extremely valuable to them. And I'll give you an example of a friend and somebody who I've worked with who offers 30 days of content creation in 5 hours. Guys, that is so valuable to people. Like, people are willing to pay high ticket for that. Why? Because they don't want to have to deal with it, right? If they deal with it on their own, it is going to take them so much time. They see the value of just bringing somebody into their business to do that for them and getting it done in the span of a day. And obviously that's something that she charges way more than $1,000 for. And the reason why it's so valuable for you is because of leverage, is because of scale. Something being productized actually helps you. It means that you are doing the same thing over and over again, which means that you're able to get really, really good at it and have a higher level of productivity. And if you want, you can eventually bring somebody into the business to actually do the supporting work for you, so you're not actually the one who's even delivering it all. And that's how we want to start thinking about the services that we're providing. And that's how we want to start thinking about our business, is how can we continue to do what we do without forever having to continuously put in more time, put in more effort, put in more resources. If you have found this video helpful so far and you are thinking about how to achieve scale in your business and how you can really take your business to the next level, then make sure you book that call with me down below in the description box. Also, don't forget to get the completely free downloadable that will walk you through how you can begin generating a $1,000 a day offering in your business. If you enjoyed this video, my only ask is that you drop a like down below. And I would love to hear down below in the comment section some of the things that you guys are currently struggling with. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.